Okay, let's unpack this. If you're listening to this deep dive, you've probably noticed that just staying on top of emerging cyber threats is basically a full-time job.
It really is.
For years, we kind of thought of phishing as the low-hanging fruit. Bad grammar, obvious links, simple credential grabs. We thought just train the users and we're good.
That era is definitively over. I mean, the low-effort attacks are still out there, of course, but the high-impact threats now, they involve a level of commercial polish and technical sophistication that is genuinely alarming.
Exactly. The sources we dove into this week paint a picture of phishing campaigns that are, well, they're no longer those amateur hit-or-miss attempts.
Not at all.
They become automated, highly targeted, and commercially packaged.
Yeah.
And when we say commercial, we mean industrial-grade cybercrime now being sold as a ready-to-use product.
And that's a crucial distinction. What we've documented recently and what we really want to share with you is the functioning of 4 specific cutting-edge phishing kits. They're called BlackForce, GhostFrame, Inbox Prime AI, and Spiderman. And their main innovations are, well, circumventing multi-factor authentication, using deep architectural stealth, and leveraging AI for campaign generation.
And massive scaling.
And massive scaling, yes.
So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to give you a clear, organized view of how these new threats work strategically. You need to know where the attack surface is actually shifting.
Right, because the immediate insight here, which, drives everything else, is that the sheer sophistication and commercialization, this is truly malware as service, or MA.
Yeah.
It reflects a complete industrialization of the cybercrime supply chain. It's just, it's a business now.
And that industrialization means that people with very little technical skill can achieve their criminal goals much, much faster and at a higher volume than ever before.
It just lowers the barrier to entry into serious cybercrime.
Which brings us directly to the most worrying trend of all, I think.
Yeah.
Neutralizing that safety net, we all learned to rely on MFA. Multi-factor authentication was, for years, our strongest defense against basic credential theft. But 2 of these kits, BlackForce and Spiderman, are designed specifically to defeat it.
BlackForce is a perfect case study here. It's sophisticated automation, but for the consumer market. It was first detected in August 2025, and what's astonishing is how cheap it is.
How cheap are we talking?
It's sold openly on Telegram forums for between 200 and 300 euros. It's basically democratizing high-level fraud.
Wow. And for that low price, you get a massive capability. The core job of BlackForce is stealing credentials and then, performing a man-in-the-browser attack and MIT-B attack.
Exactly, to capture your one-time passwords, the OTPs, right as you type them.
And it's already been seen impersonating over 11 major global brands. We're talking Disney, Netflix, DHL, UPS. This is a kit built for volume against everyday consumer services we all use.
And what's fascinating is the effort they put into evasion before the attack even starts. BlackForce features a pretty robust block list. It filters out security vendors, web crawlers, and scanning bots before it even serves the malicious page.
So it makes sure that the only people who ever see the actual phishing attempt are the legitimate victims. Everyone else just gets blocked.
Yeah, all the security researchers get blocked. It's like a private party for criminals only.
And there's a really clever technical trick they use to stay ahead of browser-based security.
Oh, absolutely. They use what's called cache-busting hashes in their JavaScript file names. So if you look at the code, you might see something like index-along-randomstring.js.
What does that do?
It forces the victim's browser to download the newest malicious script every single time they visit the site.
So wait, if I'm a defender and I detect and block one version of the script, the attacker just changes the hash.
And the browser is forced to load the new, unique, and undetected version.
Exactly. Your defensive systems are always chasing a unique file name, which bypasses any cache detection you have. We call it architectural agility. Wow. Okay, and the attack flow itself is pure theater. It's designed to synchronize the theft of the password with the theft of the OTP. Can you walk us through that sequence?
Sure. It starts predictably. Victim clicks a link, gets redirected, passes that initial bot check. Then they enter their username and password into what looks like a legit login form.
And at that moment, are the attackers already doing something with those credentials?
Instantly. Those credentials are captured and sent in real time to the attacker's command and control panel, the C2 panel, which is their central dashboard. It's all done using a fast communication protocol.
Okay, so the attacker has the password.
And they are immediately logging in on the legitimate website with those stolen credentials, which, of course, triggers the real multi-factor authentication prompt from the service.
Wait, so the attacker is creating the real MFA request, But the victim doesn't see that.
Correct. The victim never sees the legitimate prompt. Instead, the man-in-the-browser techniques. They use the C2 panel to inject and display a very convincing but fake MFA page right into the victim's browser.
So the victim thinks they're just completing a normal security step. They get a code on their phone.
When they enter it into the fake box.
And that code is instantaneously captured and used by the threat actor to complete their own login on the legitimate site, all while the victim is just staring at their screen.
Precisely. The synchronization is key. The whole attack is over in seconds. And here's the really chilling final detail.
What's that?
Once the attack is successful, the victim is instantly redirected to the legitimate website's homepage. They see their account, they think they've logged in, completely unaware that a threat actor just stole their entire session.
Yeah.
No error messages, no weird URLs, just seamless.
So BlackForce targets the consumer. But this kit, Spiderman, it shows this same level of sophistication being applied to high-value financial targets. This is where the real money is.
Spiderman is a full-stack phishing framework. It replicates dozens of European banking login pages. We're talking Blau, CaixaBank, Deutsche Bank, PayPal, and even some government portals.
And its targets are very specific: Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Belgium. I found the distribution method really interesting here. Instead of the usual, noisy Telegram forums, the seller is marketing this in a much smaller, more exclusive Signal Messenger group, about 750 members.
That shift from Telegram to Signal, it suggests a desire for greater exclusivity and, less scrutiny from researchers and law enforcement. They're targeting a higher value, more exclusive clientele of criminals.
And their evasion techniques are similar to BlackForce. They're using ISP allow listing, geofencing,
Nice filtering, yeah.
all to make sure only the intended regional targets see the phishing page. But their goal isn't just a simple login.
Not at all. Spiderman's capture goals are comprehensive. It grabs the standard credentials, of course, but also things like cryptocurrency wallet seed phrases. It intercepts specific banking codes like OTP and phototan. It even triggers prompts for credit card data.
Okay, so why the intense multi-step capture? Why not just steal the password and run?
That raises a really important point about banking security regulations. In a lot of European banking, a login credential alone, it's just not enough to authorize large transactions.
You need the whole session.
You need the whole session. Spiderman is designed to capture the entire required workflow, the credentials, the OTP, the phototan. It logs every step of the session with unique identifiers.
So it's not just stealing the front door key, it's stealing the entire architectural map to the vault, every combination needed.
Exactly. It ensures the threat actor maintains continuity until the transaction is fully authorized. They steal the entire session and the authorization steps all at once.
That's a powerful transition from simple identity theft to complete financial takeover.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears. Because this next kit, it isn't about what they steal, but how they hide their whole operation. GhostFrame gained traction since September 2025. Here's where it gets really interesting.
GhostFrame's core trick is deception through structural simplicity. When you inspect the kit, it looks like it's just a standard, harmless HTML file.
But that's just camouflage.
Just camouflage. The malicious behavior is hidden deep inside an embedded technical thing called an iframe.
Can you just quickly define an iframe for us?
Yeah, think of it like a small window embedded inside the main web page, like a picture frame inside a larger photo album. This iframe is what actually leads victims to the phishing login page, which usually targets Microsoft 365 or Google accounts.
So why go through all the trouble of using an iframe? I mean, why not just put the malicious code on the main page? What's the advantage?
It gives them massive flexibility and, crucially, evasion. The iframe design lets attackers easily switch out the actual phishing content. They can change the target from Google to Apple, update the design, try new tricks all without ever modifying the main distribution page that security teams are analyzing.
So if security tools only inspect the outer page, the wrapper, they miss the payload entirely. The bad content is being pulled from a completely different, constantly changing source.
Precisely. The front door looks perfectly normal, but the room inside can change its identity every hour.
And it has other ways to evade inspection, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It uses anti-analysis and anti-debugging techniques to frustrate security researchers who are trying to inspect the code with browser developer tools.
And to make blocking harder, the source material noted it generates a random subdomain every time someone visits the site. That sounds like a network defender's nightmare.
It is. If a defender tries to block the specific URL or IP, that address might exist for only one visit. The result is your defensive systems are constantly chasing a ghost that never stays in the same place for more than a second. It makes static block lists useless.
Visible outer page, the shell, uses what's called a loader script to set all this up. What is that script actually doing to trick the victim?
That script is managing the illusion. It sets up the iframe, and it handles all the subtle communication to maximize trust. It'll change the parent page's title to impersonate a service like making it read Microsoft Login. It modifies the little site favicon, and it makes sure the browser window stays focused on the malicious content.
And they even built in redundancy. So if the primary script fails, they have a backup plan.
They do. It's resilience built right into the design. If the main loader JavaScript is blocked or fails, GhostFrame has a fallback mechanism. A backup iframe is appended at the bottom of the page, ready to deploy the phishing components from that constantly changing subdomain. They want to make sure the payload is delivered no matter what.
Okay, so we've covered architectural stealth and advanced MFA bypass. Now for the true industrial component, scale and volume. Let's talk about Inbox Prime AI. This is the kit that leverages artificial intelligence to automate mass mailing campaigns.
This is the one.
If the others are products, this is a turnkey manufacturing plant.
And this is truly lowering the barrier to entry for serious cybercrime. Inbox Prime AI, it's advertised openly on a Telegram channel with 1,300 members, and the cost for a perpetual license and the full source code is just $1,000.
Just $1,000. For a criminal, that's an incredible return on investment.
Absolutely.
The business pitch to potential buyers is pretty clear. They promise near-perfect deliverability, automated campaign generation, and a polished professional interface that, deliberately mirrors high-end commercial email marketing software.
And they achieve that deliverability by focusing heavily on operational evasion. It's designed to mimic real human emailing behavior, and it specifically leverages Gmail's web interface to get around traditional filters.
Why the web interface?
Because those filters are often tuned to recognize automated bot traffic or external mail servers. By sending mail through the legitimate web client, they just look like a real user sending an email.
But the real kicker is the AI functionality, which completely removes the need for human creativity or language skills.
Absolutely. The UI lets customers manage accounts, proxies, templates, campaigns, but the core feature is that built-in AI-powered email generator. It produces entire phishing emails and subject lines that convincingly mimic legitimate business communication.
So the attacker just configures simple parameters, like, I want a message in German about overdue invoices with a serious but helpful tone targeting the logistics industry.
That's exactly right. They configured the language, topic, industry, desired tone, and length, and the toolkit generates convincing, high-quality lures on demand. This industrialization means they don't need copywriting expertise. They just need $1,000.
And to beat those basic signature-based filters that might catch repeated phrasing across thousands of messages, the kit includes spintax support. What exactly does spintax do?
So spintax is a method for generating slight variations in text. It lets users create one master message, and then using template variables, it automatically substitutes different words or phrases.
So instead of always saying, your account has been locked, it might sometimes say, your access has been suspended.
Or your profile is temporarily restricted. Yeah.
That's brilliant. No two emails look identical, which is essential for bypassing filters that look for consistent patterns. They're constantly varying the bait.
And if that wasn't enough, it includes a real-time spam diagnostic module. This thing analyzes the generated emails before their launch for common spam filter triggers, like suspicious keywords or links, and suggests precise corrections.
It's like having a dedicated quality assurance team for your criminal operation.
It's exactly that. It maximizes your success rate.
I mean, if you told me 5 years ago we'd be discussing AI writing professional-grade phishing emails and then proofreading them against spam filters and selling it for $1,000, I wouldn't have believed you. The scale is just staggering.
The implication is clear. More attackers can launch more campaigns with higher volume, consistent quality, and, scalable thematic targeting. The noise floor of the internet is getting louder and smarter.
So BlackForce, Spiderman, GhostFrame, Inbox Prime AI, these are just the latest additions to a growing list of successful kits. We've talked about Tycoon 2FA and Salty 2FA before. This entire trend, it seems to be heading toward a state of constant dynamic hybridization.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the threat actors are now actively merging components from different kits to create these unique new threats that defy existing security rules. ANY.RUN researchers recently observed a new Salty Tycoon hybrid attack wave.
That suggests they are mixing and matching just to stay unpredictable.
Precisely. They are already bypassing detection rules that are tuned specifically to either Salty 2FA or Tycoon 2FA individually.
So if you build a defense for Salty and a separate defense for Tycoon, what happens?
What happens when the initial stages of the attack match Salty, but then the later stages load malicious code that reproduces Tycoon's unique execution chain?
You lose the ability to detect it early because the behavior profile you're looking for is a mismatch.
You do. This overlap marks a meaningful strategic shift. In the attacks they observed, Tycoon was serving as a fallback payload, and it coincided with a sharp drop in Salty 2FA activity. They're dynamically mixing components.
So this fundamentally weakens security rules based on static knowledge.
It does. It complicates attribution, and it gives threat actors far more room to slip past those early signature-based detection systems.
So what does this all mean for us? For the defenders and the informed listeners? These 4 kits, BlackForce and Spiderman with their MFA evasion and deep financial targeting, GhostFrame with its architectural stealth, Inbox Prime AI with its automation, they all demonstrate that the attack surface is constantly shifting.
It really is.
It has moved from basic trickery targeting the user to high-level architectural and behavioral evasion that targets our security tools.
The core takeaway for you, I think, is that defense based purely on static signatures or known campaign URLs or even basic user awareness training, it's just becoming insufficient against these Moz offerings.
The attackers aren't relying on human error alone anymore.
No, they're designing their infrastructure to confuse security tools and to reduce the risk inherent in running a criminal enterprise.
It's a transition from a tactical threat to a true business model challenge.
And this raises the final, really important question for organizations and individuals responsible for defense. If the automation of these campaigns is reducing the need for technical expertise for attackers, and it's exponentially increasing the volume of sophisticated professional-grade attacks, what happens to our defenses?
Right.
The sheer number of customized attacks will soon exceed our capacity for manual analysis and resource allocation. So what knowledge gap does this industrialization create for the defender who still relies on traditional human-led methods of threat hunting? That is the strategic knowledge challenge we all need to start addressing right now.